Hello besties and welcome to another Genshin theory! This video isn't going to be as long as a theory video normally would be because I'm only working with the first 40 seconds of the 3.5 trailer. Obviously that's not a lot of material to use, so the theory just can't be super long, but I'm going to do my best. So the beginning of the 3.5 trailer looks like a preview for the upcoming interlude Archon quest. The trailer opens with an unknown voice, presumably an Abyss Lector or Herald, speaking to someone.
Oh, dear creature, why do you bow down? For fear of the unknown? Or for power which you covet?
We can't see who or what they're talking to or about, but the visuals here seem pretty clear to me. As we hear this voice say, "Why do you bow down? For fear of the unknown or for a power that you covet," we see Hilichurls do exactly that, bow down to an unknown but seemingly powerful force. I think that this voice is talking to them. I'm sure by now we all know that the monsters of the Abyss Order and Hilichurls are remnants of the humans who used to live in Encanomia. Regardless of whether or not the Hilichurls are in on what's going on here, which I doubt they are, they're undoubtedly connected to it, likely as pawns. As for what the Hilichurls are worshipping, look at this shot. What does this remind you of? My first thought was that this looks like Nahida's prison in the sanctuary of Surasthana, but this is the Abyss Order we're talking about. Samara's Archon quest had little to do with the Abyss Order. I doubt they know anything about what the inside of the sanctuary of Surasthana looks like. But I do think the idea is the same. Remember the Defiled Statue from We Will Be Reunited? 100 years ago, a statue of the Seven from Mondstadt mysteriously disappeared. Later we learned that it had been stolen, corrupted, and hidden in the neighboring country of Liyue by the Abyss Order. They plan to attach Osial's limbs to it so they can create their own mechanized god in order to attack Celestia. Whether or not this will work is unimportant for now. What matters is that I think that the statue will be returning in 3.5. I think this is the same Defiled Statue from We Will Be Reunited. It's impossible to tell what it actually is though. At this point it's just a conglomerate of purple light and not much else. While we've been in Inazuma and Sumeru, I think the Abyss Order has been laying low and working to further corrupt this statue. That's why it's become unrecognizable now. Later, Dainsleif says he might have seen you, but he is in quotes.
I think that he might have seen you.
As ominous as that delivery is, I don't think this has to be as complicated as the trailer is making it seem. I think he's just talking about the Abyss Order guy from the beginning of the trailer. Towards the end of the section about the new Archon quest, we actually see an Abyss Lector or Herald, and it looks like this one's gonna be Cryo, so fun new enemy. Maybe this Cryo Abyss guy will be the main antagonist of this quest. It wouldn't be the first time that that happened. The same thing happened in Encanomia with Enjo. And speaking of Encanomia, I can't be the only one who thinks that this area looks exactly like it. You can't deny how similar it looks. I don't know if they're just reusing assets, but I don't think Hoyoverse would do that. They're not lazy with world building and map design. If they wanted new assets, they would make them. I don't think it's a coincidence that this area looks so similar to Encanomia. Maybe it actually is Encanomia. Encanomia was vital to learning more about the early history of Teyvat. Without it, we'd know nothing about the world before the Archon War. That early history had a butterfly effect that led to what we're experiencing now with the Abyss Order and the other collateral post-Cataclysm. A return to Encanomia isn't out of the question if we're anticipating a lore-heavy quest. Besides, the Abyss Order would probably benefit from raiding Encanomia anyway. Before the Cataclysm, Conrian envoys stole a book from the Encanomian library and actually killed the librarian. Now the Abyss Order, the new versions of old Conrians, might want to do the same thing. But if this quest is happening in Encanomia, did the Abyss Order really move the corrupted statue all the way there? It was hidden below Mount Aosang before. That's so far from Encanomia. More importantly, it's far from Osial, which is probably why they kept the statue in Liyue in the first place. They have no reason to take it all the way to Encanomia if they're just there to steal some books or something. But maybe the locations in the trailer aren't all in the same country. The area where the Hilichurls are worshipping the statue is different from the areas that I think are somewhere in Encanomia. There aren't any Encanomia-specific assets in the clips with the Hilichurls and the statue like there are in other clips. This quest could easily take place in both Liyue and Encanomia, like We Will Be Reunited, where we traveled between Mondstadt and Liyue with Dainsleif to learn more about the Abyss Order. And while we're on the topic of traveling between countries, it also looks like we'll be in Sumeru for a bit in this quest. While we're there, it looks like we'll find a broken mirror. To be honest, I have no idea what this mirror is for literally, if anything at all. But I do have an idea of what it represents figuratively. We hear a voice, likely the same one from the opening, tell us that fate has not granted us the right to enter this place.
Fate has not granted you the right to enter this place.
There's been a lot of talk about fate in Genshin lately. With new information on Irminsul and how people can rewrite their fates with serious worldwide consequences, the purpose of our journey seems less important. If the fates of those who are native to Teyvat can be rewritten, I wonder if the Traveler thinks that theirs can be rewritten too. To me, this broken mirror represents the internal conflict that the Traveler is experiencing. They're only in Teyvat because they got stuck here. They just want to find their sibling and get out of here, but somehow fate has decided that they must stay and play a bigger part in the dealings of Celestia and the remnants of Conria, which is something they never wanted to do in the first place. The broken mirror symbolizes the Traveler's broken fate. Whether or not they can put it back together, find their sibling, and leave Teyvat is yet to be seen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we heard the Traveler express some kind of frustration with their fate in this quest. I feel like that was all over the place, so let's do a quick summary. I think that the 3.5 quest will reintroduce the Defiled Statue of the Seven stolen from Mondstadt. It seems to be more corrupted with abyssal energy than last time we saw it. Something big is probably going to happen with it. That something big will likely be related to information or resources only found in Encanomia that the Abyss Order has deemed valuable, possibly a book similar to the Abyss Order's Conrian predecessors. And as usual for Genshin these days, fate and the subversion of it will be discussed. I'm really excited for this quest. We Will Be Reunited got me into making Genshin theories all the way back in 1.4, so I always get really anxious when I see that more interlude quests with Dainsleif are coming. They're always the best quests in my opinion. My favorite part of Genshin's lore is the overarching story of Conria, so don't be surprised if I go a little bit crazy in my Discord or on my Twitter. Besides that, I'm so happy that Windbloom is happening again this year. I was really disappointed when it didn't happen last year, so I'm glad to see that Hoyoverse hasn't forgotten about it. I gotta be there for the first Windbloom event, but a lot of new players have joined Genshin since then, so I'm excited for all of them to experience Windbloom this time too. Thanks so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye, besties!